Alright, let's take apart some batteries today. These have lead in them, so that's an interesting thing to melt. Now, these also have acid in them, and I know that these are bone dry basically, because I got them from a friend of mine, and a few I think were old batteries from my brother's motorbike, because in motorbikes they put these things instead of the really big ones that go into cars, of course. And the best way to test if they are dry and no longer have any voltage on them is just to take some pliers, preferably insulated with plastic or rubber, and just connect the two poles. And if there's no sparks, there's probably no currency in there. Current in there. It would be awesome if there was currency in there. So yeah. Well, based on the price of lead, it might end up becoming currency. But now the lead is just for melting purposes. This one. Oh! I did not know this. It's a good thing I'm testing this first. I'm not gonna be opening this one. This is the one with all the crappy tape on it, so let's put this aside. So the interesting part of what's in here is basically this. There's a whole lot of compartments in there, and these all have plates, and this is the lead part. Doesn't look like much, but yeah, it's there's a lot of them in there, and the point that holds all this together is like a big little rod of solid lead. Those are interesting. And I'm gonna take one of these apart by wedging it open and making sure there's nothing in there, and show you the opened up one in a bit. I've done this before, as you can tell, otherwise I wouldn't have this. I have a couple of those by now, so this is where the cells are in, and there's all, like, I don't know, 10 or 12 of these plates in there, and you got the plus and the minus plates, and I'm assuming this is a plus plate, and that the current migrates from the plus to the minus, and that the minus one gets all rusted and crappy. That turns into this basically, because this I haven't taken apart yet, but this stuff is very brittle because, well, there's not much left, see, in ways of the lead. It's all oxidized and rusted and basically crap. I have a whole lot of these. See here, and there's basically this like paper stuff in between, and I try to take these apart and get the lead out of it. I also try to melt these whole things just to see if I could like melt all the lead out of them. Now I did that in my big forge I usually use for aluminum, like the slightly bigger mini metal foundry, and I ended up ruining one of my nice little cast iron pots. This is the one that's still good. Used it only to melt these kinds of lead, the good stuff. But yeah, this stuff I'm going to try to take apart and maybe see if I can get anything out of it. But these are the negative poles, I think. As for the positive poles, could be vice versa, correct me if I'm wrong. This is all, this by the way is pewter. By the time I'm finished with all this stuff, I'm probably melting this ball down too. So I have a few of these. There's a lot of this crap in there. This is yeah, probably what gets all the acid and the current stored. The acid and the metal reacts to create the current. And yeah, you basically just take this out by carefully getting all this out of there. And then trying to clean this out as best as possible, not to have all this crap in your melted lead. It will float to the top though, so it's easy to scoop off, but yeah, if you're just putting in a little work, you can make that a lot cleaner. So basically you just get a lot of these little plates, or I don't know, it's like a little warehouse for spots where the current is stored in. I like to think of it that way. And each plate stores like a volt or whatever, and or maybe like a tenth of a volt, and then there's 10 plates in there, and you have 6 compartments. Am I correct? Yes. And then you get like 6 volts, or 12 probably. Maybe each compartment has like 2 volts in them. Yeah, these are 12 volts, so 2 volts per, if my math is correct. So I'm gonna go and get one of these completely opened, and I will spare you the hassle of watching me fiddle with all that crap, and just open one for just a bit, and then show you the result of how it looks when you take them out. So what you do first is get these little lids off somehow. I think that might be handy to use a hammer, but I don't want to whack it too hard. Because I have my tripod on my bench and shaky cam and stuff. See? I'll move this a bit. I like this tripod though, it has quite a lot of modes to set it up, high and low, and extend it and turn it. Alright, so you can see some of my electronic waste or e-waste, and some stuff I'll be scrapping out for metal refining purposes. Alright, let's see here. There we go. So this is where the acid is stored, so usually you hear like a hissing sound of the air getting in there, but I'm pretty sure these are completely empty. And if they are not, then I have a problem. Nothing, as I said, completely dry, except for the one that still had a current in it. I'm gonna have to check that out. So I'm gonna try to open this thing up completely and then show you what's on the inside. So let's hacksaw away at this thing. So and just basically go all the way around and then rip the top off. So the top is off. I did put some safety gloves on, not just because of maybe traces of acid, but because of, well, you know, working and maybe scratching and stuff. So this came off while breaking it apart. This is actually a solid block of lead, and all these plates that are in there, you can't really see, but you have the brownish ones, which are the ones that are all tarnished, and then in between here, which you can barely see, there's the gray ones, and those are still quite good and easy to get all the lead out of. You can also tell by the different color of these beams here. You got a silvery one and you got a brown one, then another silvery one and another brown one, and basically for every compartment you have this. So the brown beams are still good lead, but the plates are going to be, well, non-existent lead. There is some residue acid here and there, like tiny little droplets. So I might have to let this thing dry for some time. But I am going to try to get these compartments all out, and maybe even melt some of the blocks and some of the plates I already got. I'll try to go and get those out and then see what I can do. So maybe I'll do all of them. I'm not sure. If I get a lot of plates, I will melt them in, well, not with this plastic in there, of course. I will melt them in this little pot on my big foundry, because while preparing to melt aluminum, I can place it on top. Let me show you here. I got one of these things from Mom's kitchen. Usually they are used on the stove, and when having the foundry on, the inside gets really hot, and the crucible needs to melt aluminum, which melts at 660 degrees. And if I then put that on top and use the excess heat that comes out to make this thing become like 330 degrees, then I can melt the lead. So I thought use the excess heat to my advantage in this case, and this should work, I guess. So first I'll get all these plates out, and I'll show you what I got in a bit. Oh, I think this might actually work pretty well. Check it out. Ah, that was easier than I thought. There we go. So this is basically one of the cells. Where do I have the good light? Come on, there we go. I'm still new to this YouTubing thing. So yeah, basically you got your gray plate, and then a brown one, and then a gray one, and then a brown one. And this is separated by some, well, I kind of call it like toilet paper, because that's somewhat what it resembles, or kitchen paper. It's really fluffy stuff, and that has absorbed all the acid. And there you can see the brown plate. This is all, oh, it's still quite smushy, I see. The other ones I had were just about almost completely bone dry. And when you take these parts, take off these plates, you can just place them somewhere to dry, and the acid will basically dry up and become a lot less well, dangerous. It's not really dangerous, but you don't want to get it on your skin, because it can get, yeah, well, annoying. And you don't want to get it in your eyes. No. So I am wearing some safety glasses. Always wear some form of protective gear when working with this, because I was quite sure that these were all completely dry and didn't have any current in them. I was wrong, apparently. Just don't trust what people tell you. Yeah, these are completely empty. So yeah, like I showed you with the first plates, these are a pain to take apart and then clean all the stuff out. But you could just try to, if you have like an electric forge that you can set to like 350 degrees, then you can maybe just melt out all the lead and keep all the crap in there. I am not going to be using my electric forge for this, because, well, that I basically use only for copper, and that would be a waste of a crucible, because I think the graphite might not react well with lead and all this acid stuff that's in there. But yeah, so this is quite a heavy bit, and these blocks on here are quite good. I try to bend them a couple of times and break them off, but these are on there pretty good. So and then there's 6 of those big things. This is really heavy stuff because of lead. Yeah, I'm gonna try to take as many of these apart, and then show you how to get those melted and poured into little mini lead muffins, I guess. Maybe I'll just take all of them apart. I'll see you in a bit. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, so hang on. So got all 6 compartments emptied. Here they are. This is the one I got out first. The rest is still in the same shape as it came out. And like I said, the brown ones were all crap, and they all broke. The brown bits broke off, and even some of the, I'd have to get it in a shot, even the parts of the plate just came apart. But this is all good lead, and I'll melt these with all of the plates I can get out in one piece. So I'll set up the furnace and start melting, preparing to melt some aluminum. Still need to learn how to pronounce it the correct way. Aluminium, malulilium, whatever. Anywho, so I'm going to set up the mini metal foundry and get ready for some melting of the aluminum, and put this on top of it, so I can simultaneously do that, and then maybe pour some little muffins. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so I got all the brown plates together and scraped as much of the paper stuff off as I could, and then I found that whacking them with a hammer actually brings out the little pieces of lead quite a bit. I'm gonna try to separate these. I already tried one in my little ruined pot. This was well, somewhat ruined by the same process. I put a whole of a lot of this stuff in the pot and just put it inside my mini metal foundry, and yeah, that got way too hot, and it actually melted this stuff that's in between there. And as you can see, I heated it up a bit with the blowtorch, and it turned all yellowish, but some of the lead actually became liquid and came out, but it's not a lot. The most lead you get out of this is from the gray plates and not from the brown ones. So I'm gonna go and see if I can get at least a bit out of this. Some of these pieces seem to have some good lead in them. Well, at least there's a little left. And I'm gonna see how much I can get out of this by just crushing it and well, burning it until I run out of my gas canister here. And then put all the ones that I've cleaned. Hold on, I get one. The ones that I cleaned, I got a bundle of these now, and then I'll melt them on top of my mini metal foundry while waiting for the temperature to get good for melting aluminum. So yeah, I'll get with the hammering and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, the mini metal foundry is outside warming up, and I've got quite a bit of the old brown bits that still seem to have lead in them out of it. I completely crushed most of the plates that I had. So let's just quickly see what I can get out of it. And I'm gonna, this is my wasted, well, ruined pot, basically, ruined pan. This one is still good, and I've used this for casting some or pouring some lead, and I'm gonna melt this and then pour from here to there to get the clean lead in there and leave the, well, crap in there. Let's see if I have enough gas left. Oh, that seems to be going well. Hold up. Apparently my battery is almost down. I'm gonna quickly connect a working power bank this time. Hold on. Alright, powered up and ready to continue. Alright. Some nice lead bubbles, pearls coming out. At some point they should make it to the bottom. So lead is heavy. Just heat the pan itself, the bottom part of it. Do we have any liquid lead yet? Oh, we're getting some liquid other stuff, but it should be lead. It's turning all yellow. Probably some kind of chemical reaction. Some of the dried up acid that was in there. It's a good thing this place is well ventilated. Where is the lead? I'm pretty sure there was some in there. Should be at least a little bit. I think there might be some down here. Oh yes, look at that. There we got some. More torching. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Should be quite hot now and fluid. Let me see if I can get a wider shot. There we go. I think we have some liquid movement here. Been heating the bottom of this thing. I'll extend this a bit up. Get some higher view. There we go. Very handy, this tripod and selfie stick thing. There we go. Alright. So I've been burning away at this for a couple of minutes, and let's see if any lead will come out. I think I've seen a little blob. There, let's turn this thing off. Ooh, look at that. Oh. No, a little bit of the stuff came out with it, but that's actually not bad. This one shouldn't be hot at all. There. Nice little blob of lead to start with. I'm surprised it was that big. I thought it was less. Would be less. So, see if there's any more in there. Probably not. Maybe tiny specks. Well, this is not the most efficient way of getting lead out of the batteries, and if you're going to be doing this for money, this is, well, not worth your time. But yeah, now I'm doing this. You will know that this is not that lucrative. I'm just doing this to get some lead in stock because, well, I don't want to have to buy it everywhere when you basically can get it out of many different things. Same as the other metals. Well, aluminium is everywhere in the form of cans, and copper you can find in like old wiring a lot, and yeah, in a lot of stuff. So let's get over to the big forge and start melting a pile of these, and I'll start with this bit, or wait, maybe I forgot about the bits that broke off. I could just put these in here and melt these to start with, and then add the rest on the big forge. See if we can get these to melt quickly. And then I'll move over to the big forge and see what's cooking there. And there we go. Gonna be quite a bit of slag in there, I guess. It probably burning the lead instead of melting it. It's better to heat the pot, I guess. Oh, come on. Nice melty pile of lead. Yeah, I'm gonna move over to the big forge and see what's cooking. There we go. And after that, maybe we'll pour something. Okay, back inside. I scooped off all the drawers. Reason I'm back inside is, although it is sunny, it is quite cold, so I'm going to try to cast a little silicone bear. Let's see what will come out. Now it's only a little bit, so it'll be a very thin bear, I think. But I'm keeping it liquid like this. Should work. Alright, let's give it a go. Well, not bad, not bad. It's quite even. This will solidify quite nicely, I guess. And this was only from a few of those plates. I have quite a bit more to take out and clean up. So, yeah, let's see if we can get this out. Oh, thin sheet of lead that's solidified. Apparently it was already cooling off. What a shame. Oh well, let's see. This seems solid. So yeah, lead in silicone molds. I already knew that would work. Oh, look at how cute. A little bear. Can kind of see the pouring and the layering. Next time I will try to get it more fluid and see if it will be a nicer, smoother shape. But yeah, so a little bear made out of battery lead. It's about a centimeter thick, I think. Gently. Yeah, about slightly less. Close enough. Centimeter of bear. I'm not gonna toss this in the water because, well, this will cool off gradually anyway. So yeah, this was a fun little project, taking apart old batteries for lead and turning it into a little bear. I will continue with the big forge outside with the aluminum, because that should be hot enough to start melting now, and I'm gonna get my big box of cans and start melting cans again like a mad person to refill my stock of aluminum muffins. But that's for another video, I guess. So I'll see you on the next one.